25 million people lost their Medicaid. And nearly 7 out of 10 of them were dropped for paperwork, not because they earned too much. They lost their health coverage to a single piece of mail they never answered in time. Let me flag the one thing to hold on to before we start. When a renewal cuts you off for paperwork, there's a 90-day backdoor that puts your exact coverage back with no new application. Stay with me, because most people find out it exists on day 91.
K here. The word doing all the damage is redetermination. It just means the yearly recheck of whether you still qualify. Once a year, the state looks at you again. Nothing sinister about it. That's simply the day the trap gets set.
This is Erica. Think of it like a library card that silently expires. A lot of the time, the state renews you on its own, checking the tax and wage data it already has and quietly keeping you covered. That's called an ex parte renewal, and when it works, you never lift a finger.
I'm Grace. So what happens when the data doesn't line up? Then they can't just wave you through. They mail you a packet, a renewal form, and now the clock is on you. Miss it, and the coverage stops. Not because you're ineligible, because you didn't write back.
Run the math on it. Of everyone cut during the big Medicaid unwinding, roughly 69% lost coverage for paperwork reasons, not income. Nearly 7 in 10. That's not a rounding error. That's the main way people lose benefits in this country.
The absurd part writes itself. The packet asks you to confirm your current address, but it gets mailed to the address they already have, which is the old one. So the one letter that could save your coverage goes to the apartment you moved out of 2 years ago.
Marcus Bell, 51, works a warehouse shift in Ohio. Packet went to his last apartment. He never saw it. 30 days ran out. His coverage closed while he was picking up overtime, perfectly healthy and still completely eligible.
By the time you even notice, the damage is done. The pharmacy says you're not covered. The doctor's office turns you away. Now you're the one stuck on hold, trying to undo a mess you never made.
The first move costs you nothing and prevents most of this. Update your address with every program you're on today before a single packet ships. If they can reach you, they can warn you.
Then find your renewal month. It's printed on your approval letter and it lives in your online account. That one date is when the whole machine wakes up and takes another look at you.
Circle the date, I mean it literally. Put it on the calendar on the fridge, set a phone reminder for the month before. Nothing in this system rewards you for remembering late.
Want to knock it out right now? Let me show you where it actually lives, using one state as the example. On Georgia's benefits portal, the button that reads Manage My Account or Login is the whole game. Log in there, and that same screen lets you renew, update your address, and report a change. Every state runs a version of this. Only the name on the button changes.
That one login is your early warning system, by the way. Set it up before you need it, not after.
Before we go further, there's one question that lands under every video like this, so let's take it head on. Why did I lose my Medicaid when nothing about my income changed? That question is the whole trap, and it's the reason we're here. There's the trap. There's the 2-minute fix. Next comes the part nobody explains. How the renewal machine really works, program by program, and where it breaks.
Think of a Medicaid renewal like a magazine subscription that renews on its own, right up until it can't. Almost every benefit program you're on runs on this exact same clock.
Let me walk you through the machine once so you can see exactly where it breaks. Medicaid rechecks you at least once every 12 months. Most of the time, the state renews you automatically using the wage and tax data it already holds, and you never hear a thing.
When does it not renew on its own? When the data stops matching. A new job, a raise, a move across town. Then the state can't wave you through, so it mails the packet, and that's the moment your window opens.
This is where the whole thing turns on a detail most people never see, so I want to bring in someone who knows these renewals cold. Dana, jump in with us.
The number one reason coverage gets lost is heartbreakingly simple. It's the address. The system tries to auto-renew. When it can't, the packet goes out to whatever address is on file. And for people who move a lot, that's a different apartment every single year. And I'll be honest, even the automatic renewal isn't a guarantee. It can fail quietly. The state pulls old wage data, the numbers don't reconcile, and instead of renewing you, it kicks out a packet you're now responsible for. Silence from the state is not the same as being safe.
So what's the single move that protects someone the most, in your experience?
If you take one thing from me, take this. Log in and confirm your address and your phone before your renewal month every single year. Do that, and you'll never be the person I have to talk off a ledge in January.
Great note to end on, Dana, thank you. Quick gut check before I hand you the number. When that packet lands, how many days does the law actually give you to answer before they can cut you off? Erica, no peeking.
Oh, you're putting me on the spot. 10 days? It always feels like 10.
30. At least 30 calendar days from the day they mail it, and that's the federal floor for Medicaid. Some states hand you more. But the catch nobody says out loud is coming right now.
The 30 days start when they mail it, not when you read it. If it sat in a forwarded pile for 2 weeks, you might have 16 days left, not 30. And every other program runs its own clock, so 30 is a flaw, not a promise. One piece of this is changing fast too. A 2025 law will push states, starting in 2027, to recheck Medicaid expansion adults every 6 months instead of once a year. Twice the packets, twice the chances to miss one. It doesn't touch the aged, blind, or disabled groups.
Watch this go up on the board. First, the state rechecks your file. Then it either auto-renews you or mails you a packet. You answer inside the window, and your coverage just keeps going. Miss the window at step 3, and this whole thing collapses to closed. Same clock, opposite ending.
SNAP runs on the very same idea, just with different dials. Your food benefits come with a certification period, usually 6 to 12 months depending on the state. Halfway through, a lot of states make you file an interim report just to keep the benefits flowing. Miss the recertification, and the case closes automatically at the end of that period. Most states then give you about 30 days to reapply and have it treated as a renewal instead of starting over from scratch. Honestly, my family road trip binder has more backup than this whole system does. 3 tabs, color codes, and the family has accepted their fate. The point never changes. Every program has a date, and the date does not care that you were busy.
When the packet does come, fill it out the boring way, early, copies of everything. Boring beats reopening a closed case every single time.
The absurd cherry on top. If you miss it, the way you fix it is with another form. A form to undo the form you never got.
I priced it out. The system costs you nothing if you just answer the mail. It costs you every month of coverage if you don't. That's the whole economics of it.
Think of it like a second entrance. If you lose Medicaid anyway, you're not left with nothing at all. Losing that coverage opens a special window to buy a marketplace plan instead.
If you lost Medicaid, you get up to 90 days from the day coverage ends to pick a marketplace plan. And even without that, the regular window opens every fall on November 1st. One heads up, it just got shorter. Starting with the sign-up season in late 2026, the federal marketplace closes on December 15th, and some state marketplaces run only a little longer.
That 60-day window is the safety net almost nobody hears about. Miss it, and you could wait months for the next chance. So set a reminder the very day your Medicaid ends.
Real quick, because this next part matters to you. If any of this is helping, tap that like button, then hit subscribe and ring the bell so the next one finds you. Both are free and take about a second, but they tell the algorithm to show this to one more person who needs it. Cut off already? Then this next part is for you. One question splits every comment section on this topic. If you got dropped for paperwork, do you fight to reinstate the coverage you had? or just start over and reapply from scratch. Remember the 90-day backdoor I promised you up top? Grace will defend it. Erica says sometimes you should start clean instead. Grace, make the case.
Cheap move now. If you're inside 90 days of the termination date on your letter, you just send in the form you missed. No new application. Same case, often backdated.
Backdated only if you still qualify, Grace. If your income actually went up, reconsideration only gets you denied faster.
2 moves ahead though. Reconsideration reopens the same case, so if you still qualify, the gap closes behind you. Reapplying starts a brand new clock.
A fresh clock isn't always the enemy, Grace.
Let me finish, Erica. Reconsideration is a form and a phone call. Reapplying is the whole intake all over again.
Erica, answer that head on. Is a full reapplication really worse if it works?
Not worse, different. You reapply and it can trigger a fresh look that catches a program you didn't have before. But you sit in a coverage gap while it processes.
How long is that gap though, really?
Up to 45 days for most applicants.
45 days with no coverage. That's the whole ballgame.
For a healthy month, maybe. For someone mid-treatment, 45 days is a catastrophe. It genuinely depends on the person.
Where's that 45-day number from, Erica? Say it out loud for people.
The federal Medicaid application standard. 45 days for most applicants, 90 when it's a disability determination. It sits in the same rule as the backdoor does.
Okay, hang on. If the packet went out in October and you were cut off November 1st, let me count the 90 days out loud. November, December, January. You've got until roughly the end of January to reinstate.
You know, I spend my weekends in used bookstores, and this is that exact feeling. The thing that saves you is real, it's just filed where nobody thinks to look. The backdoor is that book. I'll give you this, Grace. Inside the window and still eligible, your way is faster and it backfills the gap. I was overselling the clean slate.
There's a third liver too, and it carries a catch. If you appeal within 10 days of the notice, your coverage can keep running until the hearing. But if you lose, the state can bill you back for what it paid. The bottom line, and this comes straight from the federal rule, section 435.916. If you're inside 90 days and still eligible, reconsideration is the smart play. It's faster and it backfills your gap. If the window's gone or your income changed, reapply instead and grab a marketplace special window so you're never sitting there uninsured. That's the call. Both of them were right for different people. Reinstating and starting clean were never enemies. They're 2 ways back in, and the 90-day clock is what tells you which one to reach for. Before I run it back, try to say the one number that matters most to you right now. Your renewal month. If you can't name it, that's tonight's job. Redetermination ends more coverage than any income test, and the fix is answering the mail on time.
Next time, the number that quietly disqualifies people who did everything else right. What actually counts as an asset against you, and what the rules let you keep.
And here's the part that's really yours. 10 minutes tonight, logging in and confirming your address is worth more than any appeal you'll ever file. Answer the mail, keep the coverage.
If this map of the renewal trap helped, hit like and subscribe so we can keep building these benefit guides for you. That's the whole reason the series exists. And here's the one only you can answer. Do you actually know your renewal month right now, off the top of your head, without looking? Tell us in the comments, because half of losing coverage is just not knowing the date.
That wraps my side of it, and the panel covered the rest.
Circle your renewal month and answer the mail. This is Nora, thanks for watching, and signing off.
Rating that a 9, Nora, and the reason it is not a 10 is I know what next week could be. This is Professor Erica, thanks for watching and signing off.